It's that moment again, the one you dream of every night. La seule chose qui te préoccupe, c'est la gloire. Le cheminement de la réussite, of pushing yourself further than ever before. But the true glory is in the shadows. Les sacrifices que tu fais, quand toutes les chances sont contre toi. When you can't push one more second, chase the glory. Visez haut.
Sports on CBC, presented by Le Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada. Nike, Fox 40, Theraburn Medical Supply, Les Bagues Baron Rings, APAR, and by BioSteel.
Welcome to the 2026 BioSteel U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship on CBC. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me is Scott Koski as we get set to bring you this U Sports quarterfinal. Today, it's the Laval Rouge at Tour taking on the Manitoba Bisons. Welcome everyone to Windsor, Ontario as we get set for today's matchup. Should be a fun battle to see who comes out on top for this U Sports tilt. Now, talking about first things first, as these players get ready for today, how these competitors look to settle things out. There was a journey for a lot of these teams to get here over the U Sports tournament, to get to the national level. Let's take a look how these players and teams got here. As these teams get themselves set to go, keep in mind both teams had to fight in their respective tournaments here, Scott, to get to this moment. Here's a look at the bracket for how they'll settle on. Of course, Laval coming away with the championship of the RSEQ, and Manitoba Bisons coming away with an interesting battle of the postseason Canada West.
Yeah, absolutely. Laval running very well at the end of the season. 2-3-0 victories over Montreal in their conference championship. And the Manitoba Bisons taking down the number 1 seed UBC Thunderbirds in the semifinal before losing to Trinity in the final.
And that sets them up for what's going to be an intriguing battle to see who they face, UBC or Queens, in the other part of the afternoon session. Now let's talk about the respective teams here, because first you have the 3 seed in Laval that looks to carry momentum and build upon a legacy when it comes to the 90s and 2000s between these teams, but also building momentum after an undefeated postseason when it comes to Laval.
Yeah, you want to be playing your best volleyball at the end of the year. It's a bit cliche, but this Laval team, a good balance of experience. They got Charles Saint-Aubin, and you have Max Lausier, who really led the way for them. You know, Coach Gino Brusso's got to be happy with how they're playing coming into this national championship quarterfinal.
Absolutely, and these teams are going to have a fun time with that as you see them warm up here. Now, let's talk about their opponents when it comes to today, the Manitoba Bisons. Now, the Bisons, you talked about their performance coming into the postseason. They have a lot of history when it comes to the national championship side of things, looking to try and add on to a history of upwards of 25 medals in their program history.
Yeah, the University of Manitoba has a long history of success, one of the most successful programs of all time in U Sports in terms of total medals. You know, this particular team, the Canada West playoffs are a little bit different than everywhere else, and that you've got to get your way through a best-of-3 series and then a Final Four. So they've played a great second half, undefeated regular season second half, and they've carried that strong play into the playoffs as well.
These teams will get themselves set to go. Opening serve is coming up after the break. Live from the University of Windsor, you're watching the 2026 BioSteel U Sports Men's Volleyball Championships on CBC.
Le sport en direct sur ici-tout.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est ici-tout.tv.
Thirsty? With 5 essential electrolytes and 0 sugar, BioSteel is the game changer you've been looking for. All of the good stuff with no extras and no gimmicks, just clean, healthy hydration. Trusted by pro athletes since 2009. Steel sharpens steel.
It's not just about the victory. It's about the moments leading up to it. BioSteel, the fuel behind every victory.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario, as we continue on with today's coverage of the BioSteel U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship on CBC. Once again, Justin Prince alongside Scott Koski as we get set for today's matchup between Laval and Manitoba. Manitoba in the midst of its warm-up procedure before we begin today. Now, let's talk about, when it comes to today, these respective sides a little bit more, because we mentioned some of the pedigree amongst these squads. 2 different clashes of styles was the main point brought up by both coaching staffs. When we spoke to them earlier today, you have one team with Laval that focuses on side out, a lot more power when it comes to Manitoba.
Yeah, absolutely. So Laval is led by a very experienced setter. So Charles Saint-Aubin, first team All-Canadian. Player that's a little bit older. He's been around for a lot of years. He runs a very smooth offense, moves the ball around very well, gets all of his hitters involved in the game. So the strength of Laval really lies in serve receive, and then letting Saint-Aubin exploit what he sees as an advantages on the other side. So it'll be a really interesting game, both from the side out, that's off of serve receive, and when they dig the ball in transition. So it's always hard to play against an experienced center in big games like this.
And it's going to be interesting how these teams adapt with multiple different all-stars on each of the respective sides, and of course, a couple different U Sports All-Canadians on both respective teams to try and shine brightly here today. So, in terms of a match like this, what's the pressure like when you go to a national championship like this with so much on the line for your program?
Well, both of these teams, like you mentioned, historically have been here lots before. So, as a program, you understand a little bit about the history and the expectations. But, when you get on the court for the warm-up, that's, really when it starts to hit home for you. The heart rate goes up. You start getting a little bit nervous. And for both teams, I would expect you're going to start with their areas of strength. When you're talking to Coach Ludwig there, he mentioned, their strength is in the middle of the court, with Jonah Dewick and Jordy Hefner. So, I would expect both teams to come out, the Laval side, balls to Lausier early on the Manitoba side through the middle, and then try to figure out what the game's going to be and establish a rhythm.
Yes, indeed, and I know you have that experience playing against Manitoba as well. What we've seen with your coaching experience at UBC Okanagan. Looking back over at the Laval in terms of their discussion points once again. Right now, as their starters come on through, St. Aubin amongst your starting lineup. You'll also be joined by Max Lausier, who will start alongside Felix Dufour. Then it's Jacob Johnson, who will start in the lineup. Then it's Terrell Chouassi, who will start alongside Felix Antoine Perron, a part of the opening lineup here today for Laval. And of course, you talked about the momentum swings, 11-5. Montreal also a part of this tournament. They had a hard-fought battle for this championship in the first place in RSEQ competition.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Brousseau just before the banquet, and he was mentioning throughout the season, how you have some ups and downs, and they lost a couple of close 5-set matches, which kind of led to Montreal being the top seed prior to the playoffs. I think they use that as a little bit of motivation and, to keep them focused and keep them working on their game. This group here it's a blend of really experienced guys, Saint-Aubin in year 4, Lausier in year 5, and then you have a mix of year 1 and 2, 3 guys. So it really helps to, you have that sort of enthusiasm of the young guys, but when you have 1 or 2 veteran guys who can help settle you down, I think that was probably key to their playoff run and will certainly be key for them here tonight.
Absolutely here. And you gotta believe the pressure going to be on this facility, packed, by the way, if you notice, in part of the grandstands by members of Assumption Secondary School that is just next door to this facility. So the grandstands are packed at the end caps in particular, with young students looking to enjoy themselves. Look at the sea of purple you see pop up on one end.
Yeah, I would say typically here, Lancer fans don't like to see a lot of purple, but I think in this case, with all these students coming out to appreciate the great work that these teams have done this year, it's exciting to see. It's been a long season. A lot of these teams started back in August, and it's great to see their work being appreciated.
Manitoba finishing up their discussion on the one side, Laval on the other in terms of those focal points. Some of the major keys to mention. What comes to mind before we get things started here?
Well, anytime you start a game like this, in a championship, you want to make sure that you're making your opponent play. You want to make sure that you're controlling your serve. When the ball's on your side, you're taking the time to put yourself in good situations, and you want to limit the risk early on until you figure out what the game is going to be.
That's going to be a huge thing as these players get introduced stadium side for today. Again, Laval will be in the black, Libero in the red. Then in the yellow will be Manitoba. They'll have the Libero in the brown over the course of this matchup here today. The last of the introductions get also set on up. You mentioned one of the major things, tension, expected to be one of the major things, emotional game, if you will, could pop on up here. And we'll see how these players handle that emotion in particular, because in the words of what we've seen with Brazil, what he mentioned earlier today, every national, the first national game is important, because if you want to keep going, you have to win, because if you don't, you have a consolation game tomorrow at the best.
Yeah, you know, you worked so long to get here. You know, you've achieved the monumental moment for your program just by getting to the national championship. And sometimes when you get here and you've achieved something, you feel that need to protect it, right? And you really have something to lose. It's, everybody wants to move on, and everybody wants to get into that semifinal game and see how far you can go. But this is the hardest one. Until you get here, you actually experience it, you see what the game's going to be about, and then you hope for the best, really. You've done all your preparation, now you just got to see what the game gives you.
Starters given from Manitoba as they finished up for their announcements. It's going to Ryan Dash, Adeha, should say, leading things off. Then it's going to be joined by Norenko, followed by Sammy Ludwig, Jordan Hepner, followed by Jonah Dewitt. Then it's Owen Weeks, a part of the lineup here today for Manitoba. Just about all set to go. Again, happy with us here on CBC for today's coverage of the BioSteel U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship. First quarter final of the tournament. Set to go with Laval, set to serve.
And St. Aubin here, one of Laval's stronger servers. A spike server, very consistent. See where this goes.
St. Aubin to begin things off. We're underway from Windsor, and it starts with the bad serve that floats over the back line.
Always tough first serve of the game. You hope that it goes your way.
Set things up on the opposite side. This time Manitoba. Hepner ready to serve. Hepner, Canadian second-team All-Star. This one goes over the back line also. Back and forth, 1-1.
That one was pretty close. But you can see here at the beginning, right, both teams trying to find a little bit of their range on the serve. This is a different building. Once you figure that out, then you can maybe ramp it up a little.
Service errors so critical to avoid when it comes to the early portions of the match. Set things up this time. Laval. This time received well, setting things up for the bump and blocked by the front line. Bell trying to set up for the attack. There's the blockers that we were talking about. A sea of Manitoba blockers led by Dewitt.
And that's what Coach Ludwig said, in the preseason, right? The strength of their game is the transition block. Laval got exactly what they wanted there, a transition swing opportunity. That's strength against strength.
Here comes Ludwig, one of the under-21 Canada members. Starting soft and hits the net. Not able to get it over that time. It keeps things tight as we go back and forth 2-all to start things off here on CBC. This is Gendron, who was 4th in the RESQ in blocks per set this season. And another mistake on the serve receive. A lot of issues on serve receive to start.
Yeah, that's the one area, right? You're back there. It's just you and the ball and the pressure and everything, and sometimes it takes a while to find your rhythm.
Owen Weeks now back to set up. The right side clips the top of the net, sets things up for Laval. The swing up the middle, played well by the Bisons. Blocked over once again on the swing. Now setting back on the other side, blocked once again more so from Chuasi. Response back, Chuasi going right back on the block. Bisons reset, go across to the libero, played well. Swing over once again, played well by CA. Now blocked again. There's the side out coming into play. Manitoba gets to celebrate the pulling.
Yeah, what a rally. I think that's what the game's going to be about. Manitoba, for a strong blocking team, they also defend very well. Lots of long rallies, I think, here tonight. That was a good sequence from both sides. First
back-to-back serves the match as Weeks goes back to serve and gets it down for the ace.
This is Owen Weeks and Kirill Dadashadea, two of the better servers in Canada. So for Laval here right now, this is one of those important moments, even though it's early in the set. You cannot let Weeks get on a service run here if you want to maintain the gap in the score.
6th and aces were the Bisons in Canada West play this season. as this time service error, and that gives it back to Laval to reset.
Yeah, always a little bit of tension on the receiving side, right? You just give up an ace, you know, the shoulders are a little bit tight. When the serving team does put one long, it lets you off the hook a little bit. So Laval's got to be pretty happy how that one went.
Here's Chuasi working for the near side. 3 serving 5 early on here in U Sports action. A little bit soft on the serve. Quick set, quick power. Bounced around and have to toss across. Reset going this time with the tops, but whistle and over top, and that's going to go Laval's way.
Yeah, that was a tremendous dig on the Laval side there. You know, a little bit out of position. Ball bounces off the foot. You can see how it affects the Manitoba secondary rhythm there. Laval gets the point on the net error.
Jonathan Jonah Dewick was the one trying to set things up in that sequence. Chuasi with a decent serve. Dewick blocked right into the back corner. What a block play. Laval with the response.
Yeah, this is a little bit like we talked about, right? You can see Chuasi here. He's finding a little bit of a rhythm on the float serve. It's not necessarily a difficult serve, but it's forcing Manitoba to try to side out against the Laval block.
A little bit of a switch of the initial discussions we had where Laval was focusing on side out. This time played well after the swing from the Laval side. The response is quick. And Laval has gone down from a couple points down to take the lead. Look at this.
Yeah, it's a great run by Saint-Aubin. You can see the veteran setter there. Nice high ball on the transition. He takes a quick peek at the block, gets it right into the seam. That's a great run.
2-4 on the swing that time through. Back up and quickly bounced across off the top of Manitoba, and there's the side out play we were expecting. Yeah, sent to the grandstand.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And this is a little bit the way volleyball goes, right? One team comes out, catches a bit of a run. Now Laval's got their run here. The pressure's on Manitoba to try to stop this one.
7 serving 5. Well, by Manitoba. Soft tap that time. Orenko now setting up for the swing back. Just at the line. Reset block down. What a dig by Manitoba. Ludwig on the court there. Swung back across. To get down the corner. No, Laval point.
Yeah, if you take a quick look at the end of that rally, you see the Laval block. They know that they're in a bit of a disadvantaged position. They don't go all the way over on the block to try to expose themselves for the block out. They force Manitoba to try to beat their defense, and on the transition play, it just goes a little bit wide.
CBC Sports is the home of university sports in Canada. The best U Sports women's volleyball teams head to Lane, BC for the 2026 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship, presented by Booster Juice, March 13th through 15th. Catch the action exclusively on CBC Gem, CBCSports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made. So in the midst of a timeout, Laval on a rally, originally down 5-3, now up 8-5. What's kind of the discussion point if you are these squads here, especially Laval getting the momentum swing?
Yeah, well, if you're Laval, you've got consistent pressure on the Manitoba side out here, right? So the one thing you don't want to do is let the team off the hook with the missed serve. And Chuasi's been doing a nice job, forcing Manitoba to play all 3 contacts and then beat your block defense. So from their side, that's where the focus is. Manitoba side, you want to get that side out.
Set things up here once again. You'll see 2 serve. Played well, this time on the receive. Swaying hard to the back line. Looks for the response to receive, too strong. That will go over the back line, and that brings up the rally. 6 serving 8. Manitoba will now bring forward Dillon, who will set things up, known as the Rose North Boogeyman by his team side. Set things up on the far side. 4 on the back. And very low, just avoided the ace. Ludwig on the set, the swing off the middle, bounced around, weaks on the power.
can see both sides here. Early success on the float serve. Do it. Float serve here came kind of halfway over and dropped with Laval. And some difficulty right off the first contact.
Do it. Second team All-Star Canada West this season. Best hit percentage, one of the best hit percentages in the country. He'll watch the hit go right back. That is Zay getting it down, the mid-year outside hitter.
Yeah, just like Coach Brissot said, right? Laval focusing on their side-out game, get a solid pass there. Let the experienced setter work one-on-one on the outside. Lozier does a really nice job hitting that ball down the line.
Back to serve this time is Lozier. Conference All-Star, second team All-Canadian with a good serve on the power. Soft tap blocked by Laval with the size. Step back out and swung back down. Manitoba happy once more. The rally continues from one of its superstars.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths of the Manitoba game, right? In addition to blocking well, they covered their own attackers very well. You see that one there, Laval with the initial block. Manitoba's able to cover, get another opportunity.
The dash, Adea now sets up for the serve. He's actually one of the best servers in the nation. Top 5 in U Sports competition. Laval with the response though. Knocked forward. Free ball situation. Laval tries to set something up at the middle. Off a couple taps from Dufour. Now, once again, setting up with the swing on top. Ogarenko couldn't get it down for the power for the kill. They'll reset with Ludwig, trying to push, going with a softer tap to the back line. Once again, up the middle, set to the back corner. Good spike. Good power for the kill from the Ottawa Ontario-based player.
Yeah, that's a great run by Lozier. I think both setters in the transition game, a little bit tight, the ball being played a little bit faster to the outside than I think both of them would like. Saint-Aubin lays a nice pipe ball there for Lozier for the point.
See that very important here as the serve goes off and away. Set back up with the block, and there is the side out off the top. That is exactly what Manitoba needed to get these swings back their way. 9-3-10.
Yeah, first ball side out is important here. You know, you can get one pass, one set, one hit, and that's how you can establish your rhythm here and start to swing the momentum.
Education major Ogarenko on the serve. Swung back into the blockers. Longwood wants the charge on the block this time.
Yeah, that's a tough play. That's a tough play for the Laval outside hitter. You can see Saint-Aubin, he really accelerates the ball to the outside to Perron. That's right into Manitoba's strength. You know, they close the block very well. That's a tough situation for the first year.
Ogarenko still to serve. Received again. Blocked again, same script, same sign. Hefner this time a part of the contact too.
Yeah, almost a repeat there. You can see Saint-Aubin gets him a little bit more height on that one. Perron taking it right into the middle of the block. He's going to have to work the edge if he wants to get a different result out of that.
Canada West silver medalists continue on, now up by 1 in a back and forth first set. Setting up quickly, Easel spins for the kill. The run was open for the kill that time.
Yeah, that's a great run again there by Saint-Aubin. He had to draw both blockers on him because he's in the front row, flicks it back behind. That's we'll say this lots during the match, but a huge side out.
This sets up the serve. This time Saint-Aubin at the top of the order. Played well with Ludwig on the set, swung back into the grandstands. It goes, kicked into the sky, but unfortunately not able to keep it going. Great effort by Lose, who tried to sky it right at the edge of the grandstand.
Yeah, that was a great dig attempt there by Rondeau. Weeks hits the ball across the board with a lot of velocity. Almost had that one. Sometimes it's libero, the ones you get and the ones you don't get are a little bit disappointing.
That sets up the serve this time. Throw from Manitoba. Hefner. Played from the back. Wait, Vankel going for the soft tap. Couldn't get the pancake down. Hefner. Laval gets the point right on back. We continue a back and forth affair. 12-all.
Bordeaux, you can see their reception does a really nice job. Now, didn't carry the fact that he didn't make that dig into the next action, dropped the perfect pass. Laval carries on the side out.
We'll set up again, Saint-Aubin. And Audiko is with the service error. Back to the lead, goes Bisons. Now with the rain. Manitoba back to the line. This time, Ludwig for your science major. Running start, playing from the back again. And swing down, sends down. That's going to go Manitoba's direction, however. It appears no, that's going to be Laval's round.
Yeah, this time Perron does a nice job handling the float serve. Gets it to St. Aubin right on the perfect reception. Able to run the middle. Side out Laval.
Served that time by Laval. This time swung down quickly. Kill. Do it.
Yeah, Manitoba matches same thing, right? You can see how the game changes, right? At the beginning of the game, we had a good series. Now we got both teams in a really comfortable side-out rhythm. So this next little stretch of the game, we'll see who can break away.
Set things up this time for Weeks. Weeks played low. Set up for the swing. Bounced off a couple. Good swing. Jose again getting the kill. That is going to jump in towards 8. Now for Laval.
Yeah, again, solid side-out game. Starts with a good reception. You can see St. Aubin changes the speed. He plays a little faster, but over top of the middle route. That was a good adaptation already.
Jose plays well off the serve. Now playing down the swing yet again. Manitoba picking up on the board. This time led forward by Ogarenko. That brings doing again back to serve.
Yeah, one of the most consistent servers Laval wants to remember here. This last serve dropped right in front. You got to be ready to handle this one.
Use the power this time, or the soft. It looks like a little softer. Played by Rivero and swung down. 2 touches already. Tossed across. Setting things up for the backslide down the line. Out. And that's no touch for Manitoba as the Bisons pick up the point.
Yeah, you can see right away here, Coach Brousseau, right, a two-point gap. You got to make sure that you stop the game there as we enter into the second half. Now again, that was a nice run by St. Aubin. The ball was in a good situation. He spread the block out. A little bit more risk. Chaussee tries to go down the line with that one instead of on the cross court. It doesn't pay off for him, but you know, maybe in the long run, you still want to let your opponents know that you can hit a variety of shots. You know, sometimes you got to be mindful of the score, though, how much risk you take.
So, on that note, fans, U Sports wants to hear from you about your viewing experience. Visit usportsfans.ca to join our fan advisory panel. Tell us about yourself and help shape future U Sports Championship broadcasts by giving us your feedback for your chance to win U Sports prizes. Join the U Sports fan panel at usportsfans.ca.
This is going to be a huge moment in the game right here. You're coming out of this timeout, 16-14. You're in the back half of the set with the lead. You know, the team that gets the first set in a quarterfinal, you know, the stress goes down a little bit. The shoulders relax a little bit. You can see Laval tightening up here a little bit with this side out. But this game's been exactly how we thought it would be. We'll see if we can carry it on right to the end of the set.
Let's find out how things go here. 16-14 Manitoba. Bisons with the serve. Do it. Softer touch this time, played by Libero, Borno. And going to get it over the net this time. A little too soft.
Again, good reception there by Borno. I understand what St. Aubin is doing here. He's, you know, building for later in the match. Again, a little bit of a high-risk play. Didn't go their way.
Do it continues the rally. 16 attacks apiece for these squads. Decent receive. And blocked down. That ends up going Manitoba's way. Good block play on the far side this time.
Yeah, Coach Brousseau has no choice here, but he's got to go to the second timeout right away. You know, that small runs you can overcome. You can overcome runs in a set here, but ones that get you into, you know, the 18, 19, 20 range, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to make that up. I would imagine he's, you know, the side-out game, the reception, they have to be quite satisfied with. They need a little bit better execution on the third contact, I think, you know, and see if they can continue to pressure that Manitoba block a little bit.
Yeah, you did mention in regards to our discussions and as well what we've seen with Gino Rousseau earlier, he did say if the strategy didn't go his way, it'd be a little bit more difficult to be able to try and come up on top, but we're kind of seeing that right now with some of these momentum swings, with it going Manitoba style.
Yeah, and that's part of high-level volleyball, right? Most of the teams, well, all the teams at this level can play when you have the lead. You know, it's when you don't have the lead, you know, can you execute to stop the other team and then build momentum on your other side, right? It's only 7 points left in this set. It's going to be a big challenge for Laval.
Service line still, Jonah Dewick, engineering major. Aiming along for Morneau over the course has run so far, does so again. It's time to set up the swing, and a couple hands go up, and that ends up going the direction of Manitoba.
Yeah, that's a third attack error here for Laval in this same rotation. You know, as a setter here, Saint-Aubin probably a little bit frustrated because you can't get the side out, and the reception has been quite good.
Here's the reception attempt coming up again. This time, solid reception. Solid swing. Bounced off, but it's the tool. Laval gets the point.
Yeah, good swing by Lausier there. Ball, Saint-Aubin delivers the ball a little bit higher. He can get at the top of the block, gets the block out. It's going to be important here. Lausier needs a bit of a service run here. Laval's got to claw back a point or two if they want to have a chance.
Lausier second in the province in points per set, average just under 4 on the season. Swing down, kill down. This time, Hefner on the kill.
Yeah, good serve by Lausier. You can see Manitoba with a little bit of a push in there. They deliver a nice pass, get to the middle, which was their strength, like we had mentioned before. They side out, they continue the run here. The dash today back in the line, real strong serve. +5. I would expect to see probably a heavy serve here.
20, serving 15. Also, Laval sets up back. High spin, high power. Well by Loberos, one back. Barrow responds back, couldn't get the dig down. Scramble that time by Yaley.
Yeah, both libero play here has been strong. Yaley's done well on the Bison side, holding his serve reception. Morneau's done an exceptional job here with both the spin and the float receptions. That's another one there, putting Laval in a situation with the serving sub coming in here, see if they can change a little bit of momentum for the back half of this set.
First change really here coming in. This is R. Roland setting up one of the second-year players. Swing back down to the power, but flag raised just outside the back corner. Laval gets the point, and here comes the rally. They're down by 3 in the set.
Yeah, it's a good run by Manitoba there. Just missed on the outside.
So back up again. Physiotherapy major from Laval. Played very low on the receive. Setting up the swing down. Granco. Good play, but blocked back on the next attempt by Laval. Hefner yet again there.
Yeah, Laval again just playing right into the strength of the Manitoba block. You know, they got the dig. It was an excellent serve that led them to a transition opportunity, but that fastball is just too hard for Perron to score on the outside.
Ogarenko served that time. Set up this time, point for Perron. Long bump, long swing, long power, yet again. Odea with the swing again.
Yeah, that's the back door there. It's a nice block. Laval gets a better swing on that one. Manitoba controls it with a transition opportunity, and the Odea puts it away.
Now Brain Ogarenko to the line. So far, 3 kills on the match. Swing back down, blockers back down. This time Laval, however, gets the point as that went over the net.
Yeah, Morneau continues to deliver another great reception to Saint-Aubin. He's got all options available. Fires one in there to the middle. Side out.
Saint-Aubin, 6'6" as the center. Good power that time. Good swing, set to the grandstands. Hefner knocks it off for Romero and Morneau. That will go Manitoba's way, 2 away from the set.
Yeah, that was a big play by Manitoba there, right? That pass was kind of mid-system. You know, they made a nice run to the middle there. Laval blocked out a piece of it, just couldn't quite bring it up.
sets things up with 3 kills now in the match. Flip the net a little bit there. Fake out, swing out. Good play, Perron right there to add to the kill totals.
Yeah, that play here, if you watch on the replay, that is actually Perron on the right side. That's an old school play that you don't see very often. He comes around in place of the pipe attack. That was a great run. Very, very good run.
Right up the middle. That sets up them to try and chip away, down by 4. Serve playing to the back once again. Ludwig, the set, the swing. Couldn't get the dig that time or no. And yet again, Manitoba point, set point coming up.
Yeah, for Laval right now, you're just trying to continue to build a foundation of their game. Their serve receive has been good. That was a nice serve there by Perron. That's probably not for now, but that would be for later in the match.
Ludwig, the one to serve, went softer on it. And the set in, this set will keep going. A second opportunity for set point here. 24.
Yeah, another good reception by Laval. Substitution coming back here in the front row.
Making sure they make that change to be able to get that one sub in to try and stretch forward here at the line. Gendron. Ludwig sets up middle. Laid off of Laval. Setup has to go soft that time. Was to a C. Setting up on the swing. Weeks. Credited down. Gets the point. Manitoba gets set for 1.
Now it's a good finish there by Manitoba. In the middle of the set, they got Laval a little bit stuck in the side-out game with the strength of their block, and then towards the end of the set, you can see how they started to work the transition game there, right? Keeping the ball up a little bit higher on the transition swings, working at the top of the Laval block where Laval was working into the block mostly.
Manitoba takes set 1, 25-20. Watching the 2026 BioSteel U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship on CBC.
Thirsty? With 5 essential electrolytes and 0 sugar, BioSteel is the game changer you've been looking for. All of the good stuff with no extras and no gimmicks, just clean, healthy hydration. Trusted by pro athletes since 2009. Steel sharpens steel.
It's not just about the victory. It's about the moments leading up to it. BioSteel, the fuel behind every victory.
Feel every hit, goal, and celebration as if you're standing right on the sideline, immersing you in the game like never before, bringing heart-pounding action directly to millions of fans. We deliver unparalleled simplicity and tailor-made digital broadcasting solutions crafted to make you feel every moment in a way like never before. Our passionate team ensures your message reaches audiences reliably every time. Proudly Canadian, we bring a touch of innovation and our passion to the world stage. ISI Live, be there.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Back everyone to today's coverage. CBC happy with us. The U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship finals. Central Wonder here for this tournament. In the quarterfinals, so far Manitoba up 1 set to 0. As Laval looks to try and build up some momentum here. We can rank for set 2.
Overall, Laval's got to be fairly satisfied with a couple of things. They're going to be very satisfied with their level of reception. The St. back did a nice job. He had all of the attackers going. One little stretch there of 3 errors in the middle of the set you'd like to have back, but otherwise I think you got to be satisfied. You know this match is going to go beyond 3 sets, I would expect. So.
Here we go for the start of set 2, led by Ranko on the serve. Strong power that time. Set things up. The block isn't strong enough that time. Josie able to go on through and put down the first point. Or Manitoba still gets it. No, Laval should get it there, yes.
Yeah, just on the outside of the block. That was the same shot that Chouassi missed earlier in the first set. Gets a piece of the block. That's a huge side out for Laval.
Centre on out serve. Decently well. Swing, block, but legs right. Manitoba point as that counts out to 2.
Now that's a good run out of the back row there. I think we take a little peek on the replay there. And the Dashalea was awfully close to that 3-meter line. It's a good side out though for Manitoba.
1-0 here in set 2 here on CBC. Swain Hefner. Well, Saint-Ban sets things up. Chouassi flexes some muscle as that goes to Laval.
Yeah, Chouassi's going to have to really make sure that he can handle some of these high balls, where Perron and Lozier were getting blocked going on the cross court. You see here, Chouassi, he goes high off the hands and then down the line. That was a great shot on a very, very difficult set. I can see here Manitoba's asking for a little bit of clarification on if that ball hit Chouassi after it went off the block. It was a really close play. The linesman confirms. I think that's how that call should have gone. But it was a lot closer than I think it could have been.
Laval at the service line with Perron. Quebec's Rookie of the Year. High loft, high power. Manitoba sets up, going soft, right back to the pot. Set up, Chouassi. Laid back, Laval sets things up, Chouassi, trying to get it over top. Big hit, the attempt. Yes, Manitoba point.
Yeah, lots of good actions by Laval there. On the first, that's a strong serve by Perron. Weeks makes a nice play, recovers there, forces Laval to play in the transition game, and they just can't deliver a good transition set.
This is Ludwig once again. Well, 2-2 here in set 2 as that one goes up to the 3rd row. Laval point.
Yeah, Laval continues to deliver. As a former setter, I can appreciate the reception on the Laval side here, man. These guys are continuing to drop the ball right in the center of the court. Let Saint-Omer spread out the offense here. Chouassi makes a nice play, cross-court kill.
Ongarenko, so far having a solid match. He's got himself a few kills. Now we'll see a kill back into the corner. Manitoba able to set things up that time. Once again on the good swing.
Yeah, first ball side out there for Manitoba. Laval serves Owen Weeks, who's the front row receiver, puts a little bit more pressure on him. Manitoba middle is able to score the side out.
Here comes Weeks. Now set on up. Weeks so far 4 kills. That time his second service error of the match. Now swing things back over to Laval's side.
Yeah, interesting. This is Chouassi in the first set. He was the player that was responsible for making a little bit of a break here. We'll see what this float serve does for him this time around.
We'll see. Late towards the middle. Swing down, got down. Good play. Jump into it.
Yeah, that's what Manitoba going to the experience there. Coach Ludwig, going right away. Or Coach Ludwig, Setter Ludwig. Same as Coach Ludwig. Setter Ludwig going right to his comfortable middle guys there. Scores the side out.
Keeps the rally going for Duick's case. 4-piece here in set number 2. So far, block assist to his credit, 3 kills as well. Played well, pushed too far, and that's a 4-touch.
Yeah, reception not right where you want it to be. They've done a pretty good job. If you watch the Manitoba block here, as soon as the reception is just a little bit off the net, the middle blocker Jody Hefner sliding out to position 4. putting pressure on Saint-Aubin to make really a perfect play.
So this rally continues for Dewitt. 3 straight serves now for Manitoba. This time, better set up for Saint-Aubin. Better swing. Nice setup, Dufour on power.
Games at this level, right, you can see the difference, right? It's really hard to see the difference there. It's maybe 3 balls difference from that first reception to the second one, but Saint-Aubin can locate that ball for the middle. Difference in the side out.
Max Lozier. 4 kills so far today. Stellar power that time. He set up 3-ball situation, Ogarenko. Set on back, the swing, back again! Josie again gets the kill down for Laval. That is kill number 5.
Saint-Aubin locates that ball really nicely. Josie can get at the cross court. He's gone down the line the last couple. That one he took on the cross court side. That was a great adjustment.
Back to swing. This is Lucier. And once again, power showcased on Weeks on the reception. On the swing back. Down, dive back, picked up by Yaley. Swing off a tap at the line. Manitoba point.
That's a big moment there for Manitoba. Lucier had a little bit of momentum going on the serve there. Weeks handles it nicely, but still Laval gets that transition opportunity and can't convert.
That was set up. Nash, will set up on the near side this time. Aiming for the corner, gets the X down.
That's a great serve. That's a great serve by Nadashadea. Goes right on Lozier, right down the line. That's one of the ones where you just kind of put your hand up and you acknowledge that was just an outstanding play made by your opponent.
Seeing the lineup adjustment where seen from the corner it looked like Chilisi took advantage. This time they mask him. Go back to the power, this time send over the benches. Scramble for the 3 across. Able to set up now with the Bisons. With the top, the swing, the power again. Once again, Hefner.
Yeah, that all starts from the Dashadea, the big serve there, right? He's, as a left-hander from this side, it's really difficult. He can go hard down the line. He can bring the ball all the way cross court. All the advantage on the Bison side right now.
Once again, momentum swings to the Bisons, 8 serving 6 here on CBC. And that goes for a service error to break up the rally. Now can Laval recapture some momentum?
Yeah, that's a nice little, that's a good hold by Laval there, right? That was a 2-point run that really could have turned into something bigger. This serve here is going to be important for Laval.
Dufour. It's across, Hefner that time, sets up with a fake, block quickly. Time. Ogarenko. Block again on Ogarenko on the near side. Now jousting across. Tap back. Free by Yinley. Ogarenko. Push forward. Was the right touch? No. Laval gets the point. That time going off of the initial push by Manitoba.
Yeah, transition on both sides there. I think a little less precise than they would like it. You know, Ogarenko tries to save that, but Laval makes a nice play on the block to not give up the outside edge.
Tied at 8. Swing played well. Back across by Perron. Toss across, keeps Laval on its toes. Second response, Hefner ready for it in the middle.
Good, Chelsea, nice dig on the first one there. Couldn't quite carry the momentum over into the second one, right? That second ball that comes over a little faster, but that's a play if you want to win games like this. You have to put that ball right where it needs to be.
Sets up Manitoba back on the serve this time. Serve away Ogarenko. Power back, Ogarenko on the dig. Scramble with the net. Forced across by Weeks. Set up on the fake initial setup for Lucier. But it goes Manitoba point. Arm went over top the zone.
Yeah, just a little bit over the 3-meter line there, I think, Lozier. That was a nice run by Saint-Aubin. Had it wide open. Just missed. Again, we're at one of those important moments here, right? +2 for Manitoba. Laval really needs to hold that side out.
Second +2 rally, and again, just like the first one, service error breaks it up.
Yeah, service error. Coach Ludwig can't be too happy with this. I mean, you're up one. It's in a good situation, but +2 with that advantage, you really want to put pressure on your opponent.
Saint-Aubin sets things up as the server looking towards the middle. Behind the libero, swing down. Hefner gets it down. Drop down after the block up the middle.
Good shot by Hefner there. Yaley sets up Ludwig very well. Hefner against the double block. Laval was on it. Hefner just makes a nice play, gets the ball down the front.
Hefner so far today, 6 kills, already assisting in 4 different blocks. Serves away. Low receive by the libero. Once again, they've gone with this play a couple times. This time it sends to the back. Once again, Losier with the power.
Yeah, we spoke about that before the game, right? That's an experienced setter, Saint-Aubin, right? You disconnect on that first one with Losier, you have to go back to it. The pipe attack in the middle of the court in men's volleyball is so important.
Pipe's been very active here today. Perron sets up now for the serve. Manitoba looks for the quick swing yet again. Kill down. Ashadea again on the power.
Yeah, nice rhythm here. You can see on the replay that pass is a little bit faster, right? The reception, the set of the attack happened a little bit quicker than the Laval block is prepared for.
Serve this time. Played across by Ludwig. And this time they end up going to the front line, but back it goes. Couldn't get over. Gendron trying to send it over the 6'6" middle.
Yeah, Morneau again delivers a solid pass there. You can see Dewitt makes a nice read. He comes all the way across, takes that little one-on-one. Morneau has his back there on the coverage, but sometimes it's, when the ball comes back to you so quickly like that, you make a reaction that maybe you shouldn't make.
That brings us into a stoppage period over the course of this one. As we continue on with today's action, CBC Sports is the home of University Sports. Now, the best university swimmers in Canada are in Markham, Ontario at the 2026 U Sports Swimming Championships. Daily coverage begins at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, with heats followed by medal races at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. The 2026 U Sports Swimming Championships, exclusively on CBC Gem, CBCSports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made. Coming out of the timeout here already, Laval finishing up their discussions down 13-10 here. Manitoba, yet again, maintaining momentum. Coach Ludwig looking to keep that high with one of the largest leads in the set.
Yeah, you get this 3-point early here. Again, I keep saying the same thing. There's moments in the match where you really need to manage the game on both sides. 3 is a manageable separation here for Laval. If you're Manitoba, this is a situation where you probably want to come out of this timeout with a make and see if you can grab another one. Put the pressure on that Laval side-out game.
Here we go, Manitoba back to serve. Played well again, this time by Morneau. Swain played well off the swing by Chuasi. Weeks blocked. Response back, set up by Ludwig. Swing back across. Toss to the back, but goes over the line. Manitoba point. Like the idea by the Frenchman at Chuasi, but just couldn't get to the back.
Yeah, it's the right decision. It's the right decision. It's open, an extended rally like that, played in the front court. The back court was open, just a little bit long.
Keeps up the service game. Comes to Ludwig. Saint-Aubin sets things up. Nice slice and dice. Up from the pipe position, Perron on the swing.
Yeah, big swing for the rookie there, Perron out of the pipe. That's not an easy swing to make at the best of times. Never mind when you're down 4. That was a great play.
Gendron now serving. Played by Weeks. Quickly response Dewitt. Getting on the board for the first time in a bit. 15 serving 11.
Yeah, tough situation there. That Laval's got to be happy with that serve. It forces Weeks into a little bit of a fast pass. Dewitt bails him out with the quick tip.
Set things up. This time was Weeks at the service line. So far, 5 kills going the way of him today. A little bit too strong to receive, sets up the quick kill.
Yeah, Weeks delivers a big serve here. Anytime you see one of Manitoba's big spike servers come around with a big lead, right? There's a little bit of less pressure, I should say, you know, on the server. He delivered big time on that one.
CBC Sports is the home of university sports in Canada. Catch the best U Sports women hockey teams as they face off in 2026 Miller Waste Systems U Sports Women's Hockey Championship, Woolwich, Ontario. The action begins Thursday, March 19th on CBC Gem, cbcsports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made.
And champions, building off that comment there, this is where, you know, champions are made in this moment right here, right? You know, Laval is in a really difficult situation here. I think they overall would be satisfied with what they've done. You know, errors in big moments of really having gone their way that kind of contributed to Manitoba's lead. But if Laval wants to stay in this match, you know, -5 with one of these top Manitoba guys serving, this is one of those kind of championship moments, right? If you want to have any chance, you're going to have to try to side this ball out here.
Can they get the side out forced out here with the way Manitoba's built this rally? Weeks stays at the service line. Children scream for joy. 23 kills so far for the Bisons, 21 for Laval. Service game has seen a couple aces for Manitoba, but 6 serve errors to Laval's 3. No ace coming that time. Swing, tapped off a couple blockers. Dig keeps it alive, however. Sanaban sets up the swing, cross, tapped out, but no touch. That's Manitoba point, originally swung across by Lozier.
Yeah, Lozier's still trying to get at the cross-court side there. A little bit low, unfortunate bounce off the net, but I think that's a ball that he's going to want to try to get down the line on the block out.
Weeks sets up once again. This time, right in front of Saint-Aubin. Set up with 3 blockers that time, Manitoba ready. Set up with the block, this time dropping it down. May have been a miscommunication to Dashadea, able to get it to drop.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate bounce there. You see out of system situations, Manitoba with the triple block is able to recover. Laval in an obvious situation, the ball just bounces the other way. They're in a bunch of trouble here now.
Down 7 in set 2. Weeks blisters this one. Set up, Juicy. Played well. Hilly now sets up another spike. Yet again, the Dashadea gets the power, gets another kill. That adds to 25 now for the Bisons.
Yeah, Ludwig locating the ball on the right side there for the Dashadea. He's had a lot of success. You want to try to go with the hot hand, so to speak, on the right side, and the Dashadea has been delivering.
He's rallying the way things are looking. Look at the bounce around off the serve from Weeks. Set up this time. Popping up the middle. Weeks gone soft. Soft tap. Softer point, but it still counts to grow a big lead.
Yeah, this set's really gotten away from Laval here. You know, at this point, if you're on that side, right, you got Chouassi on the bench, you're trying to slow things down. Weeks is on a service run here. You know, you want to try to grab one and see what you can build for the next set.
This rally now up to 9, make it 10. Ace to Weeks, and that is the 3rd ace of the match, all by the Bisons. Substitution coming up for Laval. Looks like they make a change. That's going to be Thomas Karzi, who will come on in, one of the first-year players who is top 5 in kills per set this season.
Yeah, you see Lozier getting a bit of a break here. You know, probably Coach Brousseau knowing this one's long gone.
This one ends the rally with the service error, but the gap is 9, 21-12. Laval needs a big rally, and they need it now.
Yeah, Coach Brousseau there with the substitution, just trying to disrupt the rhythm of the game. You know, no timeouts yet. It's a little bit of a positive there, but we'll see what Laval can claw back here.
Here we go, the setup this time. Whistle, point, Manitoba. Serve doesn't go the way of Ben's direction this time. This will set up the Bisons as they get a get the ball cleaned up by 10 for Jonah Dewick, who has been stellar in this match so far, it seems. 4 kills so far for Dewick. He was active, especially in set 1, a little bit quieter in set 2. This time, right in Weeks' lap. Laval gets the spike back and gets the serve back.
Yeah, and you see Bocar's there coming off the bench, right? A little bit of a different attacker. You mentioned the stats there, 2.92 kills per set. Comes in, takes a pretty good swing. Doing his best to change the momentum here for Laval.
RZ sets up on the service line. A little bit middle power. Swain back high on the power that time, Ogarenko. Swain right to the blockers it goes, but down it drops. Once again, Perron gets Laval on the board. That closes the gap to 8.
Yeah, nice dig in the back row there. Position 6. You see Saint-Aubin lift the ball a little bit. Gives Perron a chance to swing high on the block there. They get a bounce to move the needle a little bit in their favor here.
Lucarzi. It's time. Played from the back. Swain up the middle through the pipe. Reset Saint-Aubin. To the outside this time. Twisting around. That will see 23-14 on the board. Manitoba will set up the service line.
Yeah, again, you see that transition ball, right? Manitoba pipe attack goes off the net. Laval has an opportunity, but they go with a fast ball inside that they just cannot score against this block.
And right now, Dashadea looking again to get a good serve down. Up to the team high 7 kills so far with this second set. It's time down the line, able to paint it just about. Dufour ready for that.
Again, Laval maintains the side out. This is good reception there. Gets the middle blocker in a nice situation. Manitoba's block is well placed. Laval's able to find a way around it.
That brings Dufour to the service line over the course of the season. .332 hitting percentage. One of the tops in the province. Swaying back, however, for the kill attempt, drops. It's Hepner on the power this time.
Yeah, you see on the replay here, you watch Hepner, he goes behind, something you don't often see in the men's game. Ludwig does a nice job, lays it out there for him. Lots of pressure on the Laval block. He's able to hit it cross court. That's a great run.
Renko back again as the server goes middle, twisted up. But a man pushes, Swain causes a scramble that time, but Dashaldea, Weeks blocked. Couple taps, forced to set up a free just about. Laval point either way, as that's going to be inside the 3-meter mark.
That was a nice dig by Dashadea early in that rally to extend it. I think that, that ball probably should have been down. He makes a great save, extend the rally. Laval manages to get the point on a set location that wasn't quite where Manitoba wanted it to be.
So not bad. Now sets up with 22 assists so far today. And the serve, did it go in? No, it went too far for a service error. Manitoba, possible set point, and is set point. That's how quickly we blistered our way through. 25-18, now set number 2 closes. Manitoba takes the set as a result by 7. You're watching the 2026 BioSteel U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship on CBC.
Thirsty? With 5 essential electrolytes and 0 sugar, BioSteel is the game changer you've been looking for. All of the... Thirsty? With 5 essential electrolytes and 0 sugar, BioSteel is the game changer you've been looking for. All of the good stuff with no extras and no gimmicks. Just clean, healthy hydration. Trusted by pro athletes since 2009. Steel sharpens steel.
It's not just about the victory. It's about the moments leading up to it. BioSteel, the fuel behind every victory.
Dès l'année, territoire du Nord-Ouest. le berceau du hockey. On y trouve une communauté riche en histoire et en tradition que Quaker voulait surprendre avec une toute nouvelle cantine déjeuner Quaker dans son aréna. En plus d'offrir notre avoine canadienne à grains entiers, la cantine est maintenant l'endroit pour se rassembler, manger et célébrer. Nous sommes fiers d'alimenter la passion du hockey dans son village d'origine, parce que peu importe d'où tu viens, t'es capable.
Le sport en direct sur icitout.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est icitout.tv.
Hey, U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
CBC is the home of university sports in Canada. Catch the best U Sports men's hockey teams as they face off in the 2026 University Cup, presented by Steel Mazda, live from Halifax. The action begins Thursday, March 19th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on CBC Gem, CBCSports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made. Back here with quarterfinal action here on CBC for men's volleyball, as Laval and Manitoba continue to battle. Manitoba on 2 sets so far, looking to try and clinch up this quarterfinal.
Yeah, Manitoba really comfortable here. You know, we said at the beginning they want to play to their strength. They have. We'll see what Laval can offer in this set here.
Laval starts off with serve, Saint-Aubin. And immediately the receive goes long. Down it drops. Laval on the board. Strong serve to start.
Yeah, it's a great serve from your veteran. If this game is going to turn, it's going to be Saint-Aubin, it's going to be Lausier. There's enough stability in Laval's game to get going, but just a few too many errors.
We're seeing that come into play a little bit now. Ludwig sets things up, strong power, sends it off into the stands with the tool. Manitoba point 1-all. That will send the Bisons to serve with Hepner. Hepner so far today, 7 kills on the match, 4 block assists. And you try, avoid to add to the one service error, doesn't add to it there. Swain, however, goes well up on the dig. Weeks pushes softer. Played that time by Saint-Aubin, forced Lovero to be the setter. Still works that time. Troissé getting the point.
Troissé gets maybe a little bit of a fortunate bounce off this one, off the inside hand of Duick. Changes direction. It was a good sequence by Laval. They're back in their transition rhythm. See what they can build off the serve.
Serve this time. Swung back across by Barat. Set up for the high speed. Weeks gets it off the touch again. Back and forth we go again. 2-all.
Nice location by Ludwig there. Weeks is a big guy on the outside. Ludwig locates that ball. High line off Chouassi. They get a good touch on the slowdown, block slowdown there, but they can't recover.
This sets up the serve this time. Through for Ludwig. Set up this time. The swing, the power, too strong for Perron. Couldn't get the back corner. That keeps Manitoba at the line.
It's a good run by Saint-Aubin again. It was the right call. The play was open, just missed. Laval's got to make sure they hang tight here with these errors.
Ludwig played softer on the serve, softer on the tap, gets it across down. Gendron tried to get it over and did on the initial pancake attempt.
Good read by Manitoba there. They had 2 blockers on that zone, forcing the middle tip. Yaley almost had that one, not quite.
That sets things up on the serve for Gendron. Quite this time, decently strong, betterly strong that time to Dashadea. Swain back on exact power from Lausier. Reset by Laval. The swing across by Dufour. The scramble, and down it drops. Laval gets on the board.
Great defense by Josh Yaley over here in position 5. One of the best in the country in extending rallies. You had Two outstanding digs in that rally, really putting the pressure on the Laval transition game, but they could deliver.
4 serving 3, Laval with the advantage. Ludwig, tap back, the swing down, the kill down. Once again, Manitoba going with power with Ogarenko. Power meets power again.
Yeah, Manitoba went early in this match to the middle blockers. Now you see Ludwig flicking the pipe over top of the middle. Ogarenko's been open in the last 2 swings.
This will set Weeks up yet again on the service line as they are all set here. Weeks, so far 2 aces. Can he get a third here? Oh, it looks like a chance. Yes, it is. 3 aces now for Weeks. And that gets the Bisons ahead, 5 serving 4.
Yeah, in the last set, his first 2 serves chipped off the tape like that. It makes it really hard on the receivers. Someone that hits with as much velocity as him, when it changes directions, it's hard.
Weeks back on the power yet again. The kill back to back for Weeks.
And this is something that Laval's going to have to avoid here. Looks like they got a passing substitution going on right here. Coach Brousseau doesn't want to burn a timeout this early in the set. This is Bocardi back in again. He did a great job on the attack. Let's see what he can bring on the reception.
They need him to have a good reception this time. He is near the target, isn't the target. This time, block down, point down. Manitoba on a roll. Up by 3. They were down by a couple just a couple plays ago.
You know, going back to those championship moments, right? Weeks takes a little bit off this serve here. Laval passes it perfectly. That's a ball you have to side out. But now you're in a really, really difficult situation here.
Weeks. This again played well onto the barrel. The swing down. Nicely played this time. Dufour ready for the setup.
Yeah, Morneau does his job again there. Continues to deliver a quality ball to Saint-Aubin. Nice run from the middle. Had to stop that where it did.
Drizzy sets up this time. Played soft and a service error. Not the best time, never is the best time, but that's his first service error of the match when it comes to his time in the line.
Yeah, not a ton of energy in this game right now, right? That's okay. If you're Manitoba, you're okay with that, right? You're +3. You don't want to spend too much energy. You want to get this there. But Laval's going to have to up the energy if they want to change anything here.
Here we go. Push back, set back, Saint-Aubin. Sets blocked. Lozier couldn't get it over the blockers again. And once again, 6'8" Adachadea there. Gets the tap down.
You see Lozier again, right? That's that sort of medium speed ball right into the middle of the Manitoba block, right? Hebner and Adachadea, those are 2 really big, solid blockers. You know, right on tempo there. There's not a lot of middle option. You know, that's just a tough swing for Lozier. You know, Saint-Aubin has located the ball well earlier in the match. On those situations where it's a little bit shorter distance, he's going to have to get that ball up a little higher to give Lozier a chance to work around that block.
The 2026 BioSteel U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship continues all weekend at the University of Windsor through March 15. Tournament packages and single game tickets are on sale now. Visit usportstickets.ca to guarantee your seat today. Chase the glory. Love to see some of the action here. I know you're going to be in attendance for the later session today as some of your sons again try and pursue a national championship with the University of Windsor Lancers.
Yeah, it should be a great atmosphere. I was here last week for the OUA final, and the Lancer Centre here was packed with some good energy, and looking forward to another great game tonight, and hope for the best.
We'll see what happens later tonight, but we have plenty of these quarterfinals to set things up for semifinal day tomorrow. Serve played well by the Bisons. Swing down, flies down. Look at that power that time from Drizzy. Sends it across off the touch.
That was an unbelievable hit down the line in a situation where really that was the only place that Saint-Aubin could set it. That's an important moment in the set here.
Lozier sets up for the serve. Goes with power, clips the tape. Ludwig set up softly, tap this time. A little bit of a softer field, you say, for the right side.
Good adjustment by the Dashadea there from up here. That looks like that ball was a little bit faster than he was expecting. He made a nice change to the soft. Beats Morneau down the line.
Dashadea now is the 1-2 serve, coming off a stellar second set. Sets things well to begin this play. Swain gets redirected off the tap. There's that substitution. Bocarze, he trying to get some points, gets one down.
Yeah, but Perron actually has done a really nice job. Bocarze here, he comes in, looks like maybe a little bit bigger arm. You know, sometimes you got to go hard at that block and get a few bounces if you're going to change things.
2 kills so far in substitution times as Dufour. Away, redirected Ludwig, going tapped around. This time, Manitoba gets the point. Laval trying to redirect right at the net.
Yeah, Ludwig accelerated that one a little bit. I don't know if it was a called play or maybe just a little bit of a miscalculation, but Ogarenko does a nice job of getting that ball over the net ahead of the Laval block.
Sets up as the server this time. This time, Saint-Aubin rushing downside out, and Laval makes it work.
Yeah, Bocarze doing a nice job there getting the outside edge of the block, right? You can see after that reception, you know, Laval's really in a compromised situation. You cannot challenge the Bison block cross court, the block out down the line. That's a really nice play by the young guy.
Saint-Aubin swings it through. Ludwig sets. Saunter tap. What a pancake by Saint-Aubin. Kaze blocked. Hefner once again involved in the block. That we'll see things swing the Bison's side coming up here.
Yeah, I gave him credit on the last shot where he got it down the line, and then the very next one he hits it right to where the middle blocker is. Man, you just cannot do that against the team that blocks as well as Manitoba.
Hefner sets back as the server again. This time trying to aim for the corner, missed it. Service error. Hefner, that's his second this match after already 7 kills on 8 attacks tonight.
Hefner going back there, serving +4. You know, I think a little bit of a higher risk serve, tries to catch the sideline. He's capable of it. In that situation, if you're Coach Ludwig, you don't really mind that miss.
Karzy, meanwhile, responds with a serve over the back line.
Yeah, on the other side, Coach Brousseau, you know, all of Laval's room for error is gone pretty much. You know, you have to take advantage of those situations, right?
Especially when you're down 13-9 in the third set.
Yeah.
Now, this time brings up Ludwig. Played well by the libero. Set up the hard swing. This time, Gendron getting some power down. 10 serving 13.
Yeah, Manitoba here on this one, you know, Morneau does a nice job. Manitoba putting the ball right in the middle of the court, position 6, forcing Laval to side out. They deliver on that one. They're gonna have to take a point back here with this serve.
This time Weeks on the receive, and the toss across goes out with no touch. Actually, they do stay with the touch, should say. Duick may have just got someone to get a graze.
Long contact by Duick there, a bit of a mislocation. Maybe the long contact catches a bit of the block. Out it goes.
Weeks will now set things up as the server. And what a shot. Weeks gets it down for the ace. Up by 5 go the Bisons.
Coach Brousseau might have to think of a timeout here. This is a situation where Weeks put them in a little bit of trouble. Again, not a hard serve, but very, very well placed.
He's got 5 aces tonight for a reason. Nearly got 6. Too strong on the receive. Now setting up 4 Weeks on the power. Straight to the bench it goes. No signal for any times yet, but Weeks' rally continue up by 6.
Yeah, and you see Ludwig there, gives the ball to Weeks on the transition opportunity. You know, I used to play with a teammate. If he made a great serve and you didn't give him the ball, he let you hear about it, and that was a great choice by Ludwig.
Weeks one of the second-year players for Winnipeg, as that's off the tap, and again, there goes the timeout, though, 17-10.
Yeah, the expression goes, it's never over until it's over, but in this situation here, Weeks is doing a really nice job. He's managing his serve, you know, a little bit of lower risk. You know, you see serving more into position 6, keeping the ball centralized, forcing Laval to try to pass it. This is This is a difficult situation for Laval here. At this point, with weak serving, it's hard to see a way out of this for Laval.
On that note, fans, U Sports wants to hear from you about your viewing experience. Visit usportsfans.ca and click the QR code on the screen to join our fan advisory panel. Tell us about yourself and help shape future U Sports Championship broadcasts, giving us your feedback for your chance to win U Sports prizes. Join the U Sports fan panel at usportsfans.ca. We'll say, as we get set to go here, will this rally continue for weeks after the timeout? 17 serving 10, 2-set advantage for the Bisons. Again, if they clinch this set, it's a straight sweep and on to the semifinals for the Bisons. Weeks will set things up here. This time, redirected up to the sky. Swain. Droussy sends it out. What a play by Yaley to keep it alive. Set up by Saint-Aubin. Blocked! Set up by Duick on the front line. And the second team Canada West All-Star gets in our block.
Now Manitoba's strength in the middle again, right? That was Laval had a position of advantage there. Went to the middle. Great read by Duick.
And once again, rally broken up, in fact, off the serve. So this gives Laval at least a reprieve. They need some points, and they need them now.
Now this is a situation where they can get it here. This is a tough rotation. We look on the Manitoba side, right? Both the right side and the middle guy pinned in the corner there off Chouassi's serve.
Serve, swing, once again, Duick. Good setup by Ludwig, who's been active on the passes all day.
Yeah, he wants Duick's footwork coming out of the corner there. That's a tough spot for a middle blocker, but he gets out of that corner quickly on the serve receive. That opens up the position one side. That's really hard to defend.
Once again, this time softer on the serve. Saint-Aubin. Droussy gets it in front of Weeks, right at him for the point.
Now Laval continuing to deliver quality reception. And Chouassi with a nice hit. He's had a few of those. He's going to need a whole bunch more if Laval's going to turn this game.
Rally potentially could see some swings here. Now as Laval looks to swing. Rosier sees it redirected to the corner. That ball maybe going for a swim at the pool next door. 13 serving 19.
Yeah, Lozier, the last couple of serves that he's had, he's put in some good velocity, putting the Bisons in a difficult situation.
So stay at the line. Lozier, too strong. Point Manitoba.
From up here in the booth, you could kind of see that one. As soon as he released that toss, right, it was a little bit further ahead of him. It's tough toss, tough serve.
So, to serve, Dashadea. High spin, off the net, and that clipped the antenna either way, so that swings back Laval.
Dashadea going after it there again. Situation, very little risk with that serve. Went for it down the line, didn't work out.
So this sets things up for Rouge at Tour. Time to swing back well from the serve initially from Dufour. Droussy blocked, and the flag raised up. Laval gets the point as that sailed on the wrong side of the antenna, it appears.
Well, that was an incredibly difficult play by Chouassi there. Picking up that short serve took away all the time that he had with barely any approach. Makes a nice hit on the block out. That's a nice play.
This will be set up once again. Dufour, Richmond the serve, but again, Hefner on the bunny. Hefner adds to the point tallies yet again. That is kill number 36 coming through.
Yaley delivers on the reception there. It looks like puts the ball right where Ludwig likes it. Him and Hefner have played together for a long time. That play's almost automatic.
21 serving 15. Setting things up on the runner. Response back by Laval. This time it is Dondron getting himself involved, the 6'6" middle.
Same play that Manitoba ran. Ludwig Hepner had run that play on that same zone in the second set. It's a good run by Laval to maintain a little bit of an opportunity here.
Centerman up to 31 assists today, and that is a big service error. That's the third for St. Aubin. The Bisons a couple points away from victory.
At this point in the set, you just can't afford to miss. This one here with Hepner, let's see, maybe the roll shot here. He's got a really nice change of tempo serve.
Hepner. So a little panache on that. Weeks puts together a quick response on the overcommit on the receive.
Yeah, didn't change it up. It was, the last time around he missed on the sideline here. This one he changes it up. It's a make, forces Perron to make a play that he's unable to make.
23 serving 16. Same approach this time. Received well this time. To a C. Got some taps off the touch. Laval clips the gap down to 6, but they need a big rally. They make a change up at the front. Substitution, we'll see. Change out. Patrick Menville will come on out, back on in. And that change is Lazier. And into the net, and that sets a possible match point.
Yeah, you get the last two serves there, right? Laval is, like Coach Brousseau said, right? The strength of their game isn't the block, right? So you're putting a little bit more risk on the serve. It just didn't work for them.
For the match. Set up by St. Aubin. Locked down, set down. Weeks leads the charge. And Manitoba takes set 3 and takes the match.
Yeah, Manitoba closing out the match with their strength again, right? It was a decent reception by Laval. They went to the opposite. They went to Chouassi, who's the player who's had the most attack success lately. The Bison's all over that. That was Weeks, and I believe Dewick on the block over there, right? Playing right to the strength of their game. That was a good closeout by the Bisons.
And on that note, stellar performance closes out a sweep. Once again, Manitoba Bisons takes set number 3, 25-18, to win the match 3-0. The next time out, it's the UBC Thunderbirds taking on number 2 Queens Gales for our next quarterfinal. That will start at 2 p.m. Eastern Time right here on cbcsports.ca. Be sure to join in for that matchup. To tune in. On behalf of everyone here for our U Sports CBC crew, and on behalf of my co-announcer for this matchup, Scott Koski, I'm Justin Prince speaking, reminding you the final score once again of this match: 25-20, 25-18, 25-18, Manitoba, all 3 sets. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you later.
Le joueur du match pour le Rouge de l'Université Laval, le numéro 1, Charles Saint-Aubin.
The Manitoba Bisons player of the game, number 23, Owen Weeks. The Queens Gales and the UBC Thunderbirds will be taking the court shortly, with their match beginning in approximately 25 minutes from the start of the official warm-up.